Wellness is often spoken about in hushed tones candles, calm music, whispered promises of peace. But today's guest reminds us that wellness can also be bold, strategic, deeply political, and wildly ambitious. She didn't just build a spa brand, she built legitimacy in an industry that wasn't taken seriously, structure in a sector that was unorganized, and dignity in work often invisible. From India's first villa concept spa to a DPIIT recognized wellness empire spanning 55 plus outlets across 16 plus cities, from boardrooms to blue zones, from explaining herself to simply leading unapologetically, she's a master of law, a wellness entrepreneur, an author of The Rise of Shakti, an advisor to the Union Ministry, and a woman who has stopped explaining. This is not a story about self care. This is a story about power, healing, and what happens when women decide to build systems instead of just asking permission. Welcome to Unapologetic Me, Megha Dinesh. This one's for the women who do not whisper. I am so glad to have you on the podcast and finally getting the time to record it with you.
Thank you, Ekta. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction because, more importantly, it was not romanticizing wellness. And for me, wellness is, uh, is more about a structure that allows people to live, work, and age with dignity. So, thank you for such a beautiful intro. I'm all
All right.
excited.
Let's take it to the first segment, which I've themed as Shakti is not spiritual fluff, it's an operational power. There goes the first question. You titled your memoir, The Rise of Shakti. In that respect, what does Shakti look like in a boardroom, not a temple?
So when we refer to Shakti in a boardroom, okay, for me, it's clarity without seeking for permission. Um, it's a making of decision making, grounded with responsibility, without looking for validation. It's a calm and not authority, proving or demonstrating power. It's um it's more about an emotion. It's not more like an emotion, but more like a containment for me. So that's what Shakti is. The poise, knowing that power is within and does not require an approval and validation.
It's so beautifully that you've answered that I can only imagine what the other questions are going to be because the way you're explaining it's so nice and earthy even when somebody listens to you. So moving on to the next one, at what point did you realize that being soft and being powerful were never the opposites?
It came with time. It was not overnight because, unfortunately, I feel that majority of us, we
Mhm.
are ingrained with a deep-seated patriarchy. And whenever
Mhm.
it comes to being a woman, okay,
Mhm.
we are being taught or conditioned rather, to it's either or, okay.
Yeah.
So for me, it was that realization when I realized that, softness can coexist. It does not need to be two different options. They both are easily integratable, and that's what leadership is about, integrating both aspects. So, yeah. So for me, it was that moment where in which I realized that I was constantly explaining myself because softness meant for me
Yeah.
explaining and justifying my decisions, where in which the other side was an equal stakeholder, and I realized that it was not for the clarity, but it was more about protecting about the other side interest rather than it was a collaborative effort. And that's where it came to me that wow, it can come with assertion, it can come with clarity, and both can exist. Yeah.
Perfect. Tell us, you've said that you stopped explaining, right? You've said that you're a woman who stopped explaining. In that respect, what was the last explanation you remember giving, and then why did you stop after that?
Ah, so again, it's a journey, and for me, it was more an internal realization first, and a very deep spiritual experience when I went for my ayahuasca journey in Peru, and it was a very powerful shamanic process, and that's where I realized that for me, it was like, the mirror was held, explanation was equal for seeking for validation, for approval. I was explaining myself constantly all throughout because I was looking for a validation. There was an issue of worthiness. So it was a very deeply
Hmm.
spiritual alignment which happened to me. And then obviously that got reflected in every aspect of my life. So it was a very particular incident where in which I was looking for a constant validation from from a person, and that meant compromising myself, my value systems at multiple facets. And I was still, all out for it, willing to do and everything. And then it just, in my ayahuasca experience, it just showed me that particular instance and made me experience it from a very different perspective, that how the need for explanation was so ingrained in me yeah, it was just overruled everything. So that was a personal experience which really helped me, coming out with that clarity that it's no longer needed.
Thank you for sharing with us, because I feel like it takes a lot to share a personal incident and then come to a conclusion and a realization through it. So we really, really appreciate. I'm going to take you to the next question, which is: do you think women are taught to translate themselves constantly, especially when they're ambitious?
Of course. I don't think so. Even men today will have an objection to it. Um, again, I'm just, it's a conditioning, right? So women are taught to translate because it also means dilution of authority. No?
Hmm.
आप अपने आप को ट्रांसलेट कब करते हैं, आप अपने आप को एक्सप्लेन कब करते हैं, when either you're not sure about it, that the decision what you hold, okay, has a maturity, or you're looking for a validation, okay, either of the thing, you're looking for crowd support, okay.
Yeah.
So you have to constantly explain, you have to narrate, and that's a very deeply ingrained conditioning of
Hmm.
most women across the globe, okay. So yes, translation had been a constant necessity because for us, ambitious women being ambitious means aggressive. Okay,
Hmm.
and that's a no-no. Na? How can be a woman be aggressive? You're idolized. You are depicted as a mother who's very soft,
Yeah.
caring. The narratives keeps going on that everyone comes first and you're the last one. So
Yeah.
in that path, you are constantly under the pressure of translating
Hmm.
yourself.
Hmm. Do you think times are changing?
Times are changing,
Hmm.
and but have we arrived there yet? No.
Yeah.
So it's a journey, and it's
It's
a
a joke.
conscious journey. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
That
it will
was
be more
conscious.
realistic when every mother takes this as a conscious decision that they will raise a son and a
Hmm.
daughter, okay, where in which there is equality in all aspects ingrained in them.
Yeah,
So
yeah, perfectly agree. Um, How has your relationship with femininity changed as your power expanded?
Um, so again, the stories are very powerful, Ekta. We typically grow up with stories wherein femininity is depicted as someone very caring, very docile, always very giving,
Yeah.
and that translates a lot in terms of suppression. Okay, when we suppress ourselves because we don't exist for ourselves, right? The world comes first before us. Okay, so when you grow up in that belief system, it is very hard to detach ourselves with a softer version of femininity, okay, which is always caring, giving, okay. um, but once you reach to a realization and again you realize that you don't have to choose between caring and being authoritative, okay, being decisive and still looking after people's need, okay. So it's all of this can coexist.
Hmm. This is so beautifully put. I feel like a lot of females, even when they think about it, there's a clash of personality. When they talk about career, it's always this aggressive personality. But the point that you've made is that softness and aggression can coexist, whether you talk about
Yes.
personal or professional life. It's just the situation and it's just the choice of how you want to be presented in that moment.
Yeah, see, for me, aggression is equivalent of assertion.
I
Okay,
like
so
that,
when I
yeah.
talk about aggression in work, it's not like aggression in that; it's assertion. Okay,
Hmm.
and I feel assertion can coexist with softness. Assertion can coexist with clarity, and at the same time, the flexibility.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
um, when, especially at leadership role, when you're accountable for and for many, then yeah, there needs to be authority with clarity which needs to come. So
And I just hope with growing times, I feel these adjectives lose their essence when it comes to women because with men, we never really ask about softness and assertion and aggression. So I feel like probably we'll do another segment where I'm not asking these adjectives and we have the other topics.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There
All
was
right,
a very
thank
beautiful ad, which it was done by some European agency. Yeah, it was like when they were questioned, there were different men who were questioned that did you experience ever that to grow in your life or for a promotion did you ever unbutton your shirts? They were very brutal
you. Oh my
questions. Okay, did and but they were eye openers, but and that's what women today still face, in many aspects, especially successful women.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Tell us, is Shakti something women reclaim or something they remember?
See, for me, reclaiming means you have given the power to someone else, and that someone else could be most of the time an external world. Okay, so for me, it's remembering because it's within. Okay, and it gets suppressed because of year longs and centuries of deep conditioning. And I think it's all about getting in touch with Shakti, and it's just there within each one of us.
Beautiful. I mean, this is so nicely that you've handled the first segment itself. We're going to start with the second
Thank you.
segment, which is themed as she built what didn't exist and then stayed when it was even hard. So there goes the first question. In 2014, you launched a villa concept spa when India didn't even have the language for it. Um, at that time, what were you seeing that the market wasn't, and you saw potential in it?
See, for me, Meghavi has been a lot of healing internally as well as externally, and a journey. So being in this industry, and I started my career in what 2000. Okay, I saw that there is a huge gender gap in terms of consumers also, because spas typically address emotion of stress. Okay, and stress was considered limited to men. Okay, because
Hmm.
stress has a direct attribute to financial thing. आप
Hmm.
बाहर जाते हो कमाते हो तभी आपको स्ट्रेस हो सकता है घर के कामों में स्ट्रेस कैसे हो सकता है
Correct.
okay so so for me I wanted to create a system or an ecosystem rather wherein which women feel safe to
Hmm.
come and experience as customers. So Villa was to give that experience like an independent house like in which you can connect emotionally, you feel safe, you can experience quality services, with respect, with dignity,
Hmm.
and equal opportunity. So yeah, so that was what starting a experience was. It was an experiment to do that. And with all humility, I would say that the first villa that we started, which still exists for us today, we are able to create, in terms of customers, we have 40% of women as
Oh,
female as our
wow.
customers today, which is hugely, it's a huge achievement over what the typical trends are. It's still 80-20, 90-10. So in terms of that, yeah, we came quite a way in
Kudos to
that
you
experiment.
and
So
the vision that you had and how you brought it in existence. This is all about your work style and the rigor, and I would also say relentlessness, because I feel like we've spoken, that women have this judgment criteria which also runs back in the mind day in day out. But then to get to that number is very impressive and is also very inspiring for a lot of other females. I am getting
thank
inspired
you.
already while I'm recording it. So I'm like, yeah, keep telling us the facts. All right.
Yeah.
When Meghavi went from one villa to 19 outlets now, the question is, what almost broke you?
Wow. And besides the natural growth, it also happened that we entered into the COVID times in our
Okay.
peak growth curve, So, yeah, so it was a very interesting and I would say testing journey. So, if I have to limit it to a particular word, then I would say pace, because in an unorganized industry in which we face challenges at every level, from talent pipeline to right vendors to even customer awareness. Okay. So when you
Yeah.
are growing at that pace, you have to just not open a new outlet, but you have to also address all these challenges and a bootstrap company.
Hmm.
So, in terms of, there are many constraints you're working upon. So the pace was, pace in the existing ecosystem and the pace against the tide of COVID. So COVID, we have a very interesting story. If time permits, I will just share with you quickly. Um, so in during the COVID times, COVID happened obviously unannounced and all that.
Hmm.
March 26th and all that. Now, our cash flows are planned typically as any growing organizations. So we were in the midst of the stage in which we've just cleared all our rental payments, and we are heading to the salary cycle for the next month. Okay, and COVID just happens. The shutdown comes into picture, and so, one thing we were very clear, and that has been DNA of Meghavi, is care for people. Um, so, irrespective of the fact that we were cash strapped, we were not sure, and that whether we'll be able to pay the full salaries for the month or not. um, we took a very conscious decision that, there was a team created, dedicated team who would attend the calls of all our employees, address their concerns. We also reached out to some medical professionals and all, to keep some backups and all in case of emergencies that might happen within the team. Because many of our team members are women from Northeast. Okay, they're marginalized. They've fallen the marginalized workforce. And we made sure that we provide accommodations to our female staff. So we ensure that rations were being kept in their accommodations. And the result was, Ekta, when the lockdown got lifted, we were probably the only spa chain in the country which had almost 70% of the workforce willing to stay back and not go
Oh,
back to the villages. So that gave us the impetus to grow and scale so fast that from 20 outlets before COVID hit us, we were less than 20 outlets. In the 1.5 year of COVID, we doubled our growth. We were like 40 plus outlets.
wow.
So yeah, because we
Do you
had the
feel,
support of our people.
do you feel like we're also, in a way, talking about the culture at Meghavi,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
It trickles down from
true,
senior
true.
leadership, which is it starts from you, and then everyone who's been working, and that's why people are so in tune and they want to come back because they feel it like home and they feel invested in the mission.
Yes. And it's also celebration. We
Yeah.
celebrate people's successes, we are there shoulder to shoulder. So yeah. It's a yeah, it's what
Amazing.
family means outside.
Yeah. All right, tell us, how do you know when a vision is ahead of its time versus when it's simply wrong? What is the distinction between the two categories? And I'm sure there's a thin line of difference.
Yeah, I mean, see, if you are usually the originator of the vision, it's quite a hard pill to swallow that, your vision can be wrong or right. So it's a very
You want to
hard
make it right either ways.
So I think the POC, proof of concept, comes with test and pressure.
Hmm.
Sorry, time and pressure is what I would, narrate it better. Because when you're being tested under pressure and you still survive, the vision still survives. Okay. There are some fundamentals, okay, which allowed you to sail through. So that's the real test, because in that interim period, it also challenges you. No, it means sacrifices also. It means also going through certain pain, okay, frustration. But yeah, if you survive through it and your vision outlasts that, okay, then you're on the right track.
Mm. So everyone who's going to be listening now, they know how to figure out if this is scalable or whether you're going to realize it's not worth it. Well, which in that case, I just feel like you have the audacity of still making it work and figuring out ways because it takes a lot of hard work to start on something and then and you put a lot of heart into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, for some people, they talk about it as a resilience.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, resilience is, yes, definitely there. But in my own life situation, it was more about survival. I didn't have an option, so I had to just move forward. And at some given point of time, when you reach, and that comes with evolution, when you reach to the wisdom of that, you would move forward, but you also trust, you surrender to the universe
Yeah.
and the, greater wisdom. So, yeah, that's an
Tell me,
evolution.
when you mention about for you it was survival, I want to understand. Sometimes people say that it's good to have a plan B. But do you think
Hmm.
that having a plan B also kind of says that, I don't know, maybe you're not really putting as much that you should than in case of plan A because that's your only option? Having a safety net kind of restricts you, and I don't know, maybe you don't really put like a 200% that you could have otherwise. What do you think? Should one have a plan B or should one just go ahead with one?
Yeah, I feel it's a lot which depends upon the role. Okay, if you are a strategic, if you are in a strategic role, okay, then you should be having plan B, plan C, etc. Okay, if you are in an executionary role, okay, it is the plan A, okay, and it is
Hmm.
the only plan. Okay. So I feel it's a lot dependent upon what role are you playing, okay, at that given point of time. I think in the early stages, okay, for any business, okay, you're more as an executionary.
Hmm.
Okay. You from the watchman to the C to the owner, you play all the roles. So you're more in an executionary level. So it is the only plan. Okay.
Gotta do
When
it.
you move into, yeah, you ought to do it,
Perfect. All right. Tell us, scaling wellness is tricky, intimacy versus expansion. What did you refuse to compromise on even while scaling?
Dignity of labor.
Okay.
So, see, in our industry, and I've worked with hospitality chains and all in the past. In case of unpleasant situations in hospitality industry as such, not only restricted to the spa, you're being taught that you have to say sorry to the
Okay.
customer first.
Hmm.
Okay, even though it meant questioning of dignity or an inappropriate behavior. Okay. Uh, we were the first ones, I think, not I think, I know for sure, in which in our SOP formulation, I ensure that our team removes the word sorry when it comes to customer misbehavior, that you should
Wow.
not be unapologetic, okay, about sorry, sir, ma'am, I cannot continue your session because, of XYZ reasons. If it's an attack on the person's dignity, there's no compromise. So the word removal of that sorry was also an empowerment. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were able to create that safe space where in which our therapists feel protected, they feel valued. Okay. Their voices are heard. So for me, dignity of labor is a non-compromisable quality.
Hmm.
Just to let you know, we are also one of the first ones to bring in two-way rating. So not only our customers rate the therapist, but our therapists also rate the customers.
Oh, beautiful that is. Yeah. So that way you secured both the sides of the conversation. And I think
Yes.
it's, you said that I think it's so empowering because everywhere, especially in the service industry, it's always told, right? You have to listen to the customer comes first. But then in the whole process, sometimes the staff ends up compromising, but how do you safeguard that? And you become the pioneer of changing and bringing policies which safeguard the staff first, and you show them that we're here and we're standing with you. So not just words but actually putting it in action.
Yes, absolutely.
So very proud that we're discussing all of those things, the changing landscape of India.
See, it's politics of words. So yeah, once you understand that there are words which will empower you, there would be words which will take away the power. So if you're selective and
Yeah,
careful about it, you can really create a true empowerment.
right. All right, tell us, what's the cost of being early, emotionally as well as financially?
It's very costly affair, let me first tell you.
Tell us emotionally then.
Yeah. So, see, whenever you're early,
Yeah.
okay, you will face resistance, okay, which means a lot of your emotional energy also gets depleted, consumed, okay, because the resistance often comes in the early stages from the close and the near ones, okay, which
Yeah.
you cannot typically
Isn't it kind of surprising?
foresee.
Do you think that this actually comes because they're trying to safeguard you? Or maybe they haven't been exposed to that side of the world? So it comes like a resistance, which is like a safety in terms of them?
See, it's not like one particular reasons, because if you see the intent, the deep down intent is wishing well,
Yeah.
right? Of the near ones, it emanates from the love. Uh, so that's there. But it's also conditioned a lot with our belief systems. Okay,
Hmm.
how we are being brought up, and I always this is one of my favorite things, that when we get the DNA of our ancestors, the color of our eyes or hair can be determined by what color my great great grandmother had it. What makes me not believe that their suppressed emotions or unfulfilled demands are also not part of me?
Oh my God, that's so profound.
So
Wow.
so sometimes it's not that our own life experiences, but we carry a bag of ancestral conditioning.
Hmm.
So at the end of it, yes, the intention is well wishing, but it's clouded or it's colored with our own belief systems, and which may not be very empowering, which may be very limiting.
Hmm. Wow.
So,
I
this
don't have any other word than I think multiple times I've said wow because I'm like putting my brains around it. This is so true. Never has anybody thought of it this way. And hence we're doing a podcast with.
okay.
Moving on to the next segment, which is that real power is structure. Here goes the first question. Meghavi is the first spa brand in India to receive a tax holiday, which is heroic and historic. Why was formalization so important to you, Megha?
See, formalization for me again means legitimacy. It means dignity of labor. It means a perceptional shift. Okay. I'll give you a story, and that's a true story and lived story of many therapists. Okay, as I shared with you just a while back, that majority of therapists in India come from Northeast. Okay, that's eight northeastern states, because typically in these states, women are in power. So जैसे बिहार से लड़के बाहर आते हैं काम करने के लिए, यहाँ से
Hmm.
लड़कियां, okay, and very strong women. It's not
Hmm.
easy to come out from a safe ecosystem
Yeah.
into places where in which even your languages or culture will be met with questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but because the nature of the industry is unorganized, okay, uh, while the earning capability is quite decent, on an average, a good therapist can make up to 45 to 50,000 rupees per month, okay,
Okay.
which is a good amount of earning from an Indian standard,
Yeah.
okay, from the labor perspective, marginal workforce perspective, okay. However, you'll still find many struggling to get a house on rent, okay,
Wow.
because
Okay.
they are not able to provide a salary proof or a stable income, because most of the industry players, it comes in an unorganized segment. So for me, formalization means, providing that safety net. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's also perceptional shift. So that's
Hmm.
why it's very important to me.
Wow. This is incredible. I mean, tell me, how did you come up with this? Were you in line with what their issues were in terms of livelihood? And then that's how you came across with this idea that we want to create a part of the industry where people take it seriously. There's a formal structure, and then it, because the more relaxed a therapist is, the better it gets into their work. And then they would want to continue doing it because it's a safe environment for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So um, now, see, I think it's a lot to do with being a woman.
Hmm. Hmm.
And by women here, I mean feminine energy, okay?
Yeah.
And that could exist even in men. It's
Hmm.
it's not gender specific, okay?
Yeah.
So feminine energy, while it's strong, it's decisive, it's inclusive.
Hmm.
Okay. There's a sensitivity towards
Hmm.
life. Okay. You're able to see people uh,
Yeah.
and not just them as resources. Uh, so I think that's natural to many women. And I think it's natural. It's very natural in the sense of being nature, being
Yeah. Yeah.
um, like if you see, for example, every fetus in the womb for the first 5 to 6 weeks is a female. It's only due to some chemical reaction, okay, uh, it decides to change into a full-fledged man or women, okay. But by nature, okay, I'm using the word default. Men are more default mechanisms than what nature chooses. Okay. So, so the point here is that feminine energy is very much present and it's not gender
Yeah.
specific as long as we allow ourselves to be open to it. And it's scientifically proven also. So we all are
Great.
females in the early part of our life.
All right. Okay. Tell us, you're not just running a business, you're actually cleaning up an industry. Did you face resistance when you try to bring structure and transparency? We spoke about what led you to do this. Now tell me what you actually faced while doing it.
Of course. You see, you would face resistance when there are set of people who derive benefits out of ambiguity, out
Hmm.
of chaos. Okay. So that's true for every industry. Okay. And I was no exception to it. So, yes, I did face a lot of resistance. And I think it was a clarity and, the very strength in me that allowed me to continue, irrespective of all the possible distractions.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, is where, what made me who I am today.
I am so tempted to ask this one question, which is like almost a follow up to what you're saying. I just want to know, where does the grit come from? You have so
I think
many
it's li-
people.
I
What?
think it's life. It's life, when you're being tested
Yeah, yeah.
uh, through different situations, you either break or you make yourself out of,
Hmm.
right? Either you can become a victim or you can become a warrior. Okay. And there was a substantial part in my life wherein which I enjoyed being victim. Okay, because it made certain things more accessible to me. Okay, whether
Really?
it was care, yeah, it's sympathy, because
Hmm.
sympathy means you're seen.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
or you're visible, and that might be very important
Hmm.
requirement or need for you, maybe as a child, especially.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, but it was that awareness which life threw at me that, I just rose to the occasion and I said, no more being a victim. I'm the warrior of my life.
Let's go. Yes.
Yes, bring it on.
All right, tell us, what does legitimacy mean in a sector built on informality and intuition?
So, see, legitimacy in this regards, when intuition is being replaced by professionalism.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, when you have predictability in the system. Okay. And by predictability, I mean in terms of your processes, in terms of people, uh, you know, as long as there is predictability, you're able to bring predictable, like a person today working in Meghavi, a therapist working in Meghavi, knows very confidently that she would not be thrown overnight, or removed from the job because a manager does not like her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or I'm just giving an
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
That's a predictability. Okay, so legitimacy helps in bringing the predictability. Okay, and when our professionalism approach takes over, is uh, is where the recipe lies, of success and growth.
Well answered. All right, tell us, is wellness India's next sunrise sector? And if yes, what must change for it to truly scale?
Well, as someone who's so deeply connected with wellness, I strongly believe that it is. And even at the government level, I feel there is a recognition. I'll tell you, as old as 2010 story, okay, which is like what, 16 years back, a story are we talking about, okay. I was representing the Indian wellness spa industry under in the union ministry format, wherein which the government was exploring option to establish India as a wellness destination.
Okay, wow, okay.
So this is awareness even at 2010, and at my many interactions in terms of senior level government bureaucrats, and I feel that one of the turning story of Meghavi would be when we are able to bring wellness to village levels. When we have well villages, okay, where in which people can come, because there's a lot of mobilization which happens from villages to cities. Okay, if we are able to create that format, the amount of tourism, the amount of wellness business we can bring into it, the levels of uh, earnings which can be really really increased, is we are sitting on a gold mine if we tap onto it, is my belief.
I
and i
hope
and i
many
feel
know
it's
about it already. And I feel like 2010 is when the time that you're mentioning, and it's been 16 years, it'll only go up
yeah, yeah,
considering. And I
absolutely.
really like that term, well, villages. That's a really good
Yeah.
term.
Yeah. So,
Okay, tell us, do you think women led industries are often dismissed until they become profitable? Is that so?
see, you are starting in a ground which is not equal or level playing field for you. Okay. So until and unless you give a POC, and for businesses, POCs are impact and profits, right? You're already coming from a gender-based bias, from a cultural-based bias, and nature-oriented also. Okay. So yeah, definitely there is. The profits come before impact. If you're able to show impact, is where people will actually turn heads. And a great idea told by a man would most often be received in a very different way than a great idea told by a woman. And history is a proof for it.
Hmm.
So,
While we always say the times are changing and we're still to get there, but the change is happening slowly
yes,
and gradually. I
yes,
feel like
of course.
the more number of women entrepreneurs, like I was just going through one of the reports from Forbes Women, and they did mention that why do we see a lot of, even in the founders category, we still see a vast number by men than females. And I feel like there's a long way to go while we see female founders, but it's a territory or it's a niche that female founders have to claim it more aggressively and not stay in self-doubt. And I think mostly it comes from a lot of support from the families within.
Yeah, true. Ika, I would like to elaborate this more. And this is a conversation I had with quite young girls, budding entrepreneurs, and also through your medium. I want to emphasize that. See, with all keep kept aside, okay,
Hmm.
uh, only when we are able to approach a problem from a solution and scientifically derived solution, then only we can address the problem. Okay. So here the biology of women plays an important role. Okay. Now, when by the time today, when you finish your formal education, you're 22, 23, if you're pursuing higher studies, then 24, 25. Okay. Your fertility is at a peak, okay, between the 20s, late 20s. The moment you start going towards your 30s, your fertility by nature, okay, starts reducing down because the your shells of your egg, the covering starts hardening up. Okay, that's an age-related thing which happens to every woman. Okay, so the pressure, okay, of procreation, okay, whether it's natural or it's societal or family oriented, okay, starts building up. Now if you look from a career progression, okay, if you're joining, and that's for men and women, you typically start an organization or some business in your mid 20s and all, okay. By the time you gain experience and you move into a strategic position or in a leadership role, you're most likely in your early 30s. Okay. Now it's a conflict of interest here happening. Okay. Because when you reach to a leadership role, which means a lot of your time, energy, resources would be to that particular project.
Yeah.
And here comes, the child as a project also.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for which the
Very common.
primary provider is a woman.
Yeah.
So I usually encourage girls that if even if you're not sure that you want to be a mother biologically, okay, or you're sure you don't want to be, okay, or whatever the choices are, okay, keep your options open, where in which, um, if you can afford, freeze your eggs in your late 20s. Because your uterus still support, okay, pregnancy even in your mid 40s. It comes with a certain cost, but it still is doable. Okay. But your eggs, okay, which are this one, which can be addressed. So if you're able to freeze the eggs, the pressure of becoming pregnant in your 30s, which is a conflict, okay, to the time when your career reaches to its peak, can actually be addressed. Okay, so it's a choice which you can really work around it if
Yeah.
it's important to you, if
Yeah.
it's something important to you,
Yeah. I think very
and it
well
should be
said.
your decision.
One should think about it early on, like you said about mid 20s or late 20s. Whether you
Yeah,
want it or you don't, it's always a good idea. Freeze your eggs and then
yes.
you can decide about it later, whatever you wanted to go ahead in terms of the choice, but at least you have that option.
Yeah. And see, at that age, you can take the chemical pressure,
Yeah.
okay? But when you go through IVF cycles and all, which eventually turns out multiple as you hit your 30s, okay, because the quality of egg plays a important determination in terms of number of cycles you will go through. Okay, that take a huge toll hormonally, physically, and all. So I think it's a much better idea that younger women start thinking about it, and we should have more conversations so it's not a taboo.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing this. And I'm sure a lot of females who are going to be listening will find this so much more beneficial. Even if you're not thinking about it, at least start thinking about it and nudge
Yes,
yourself into
yes,
that direction. Sit into the rooms, have those discussions with your own safe zones, maybe in your friend circles, family groups. These topics should be spoken more often. Just so,
absolutely.
right? It brings that kind of comfort when females can discuss about it and not shrug it under the carpet or we'll think about it later. That should not be the
Yeah,
criteria. All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
moving on. Tell us, Meghavi employs 600 plus people, largely women from the Northeast, as you just mentioned a little back. What responsibility do you feel when women's livelihood depends on your leadership? Now, we spoke about the rent and we spoke about how you got that into a formalized structure, but what are And I'm sure your responsibility goes into multiple tangents. What are the other things that you would want to highlight in this question?
So I was sharing with you that, it comes with a lot of accountability, which means also emotional stability,
Yeah.
because it's a decision which is going to impact livelihoods of many. So it it is about more about steadiness.
Hmm.
Sometimes like in expansion, we have pressures, to uh, scale up, at times you will come across, where in which expectations would be to meet a particular timeline. You want to cut corners and, work around it and all that, so which can have substantial impacts going forward. So not giving in to the pressure. Okay, so
Hmm.
this is what I would say: leadership with accountability, steadiness, and not really giving into pressure,
Now,
stability.
taking cues from what you just answered, tell us, what does ethical leadership look like when no one is watching?
Yeah,
I mean, I should actually say when it's almost all the time, nobody's watching, you have to be ethical all the time, right?
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
somebody's watching and then you have to be ethical.
yeah. I think for me, it's about being a sponge, where in which you're able to absorb the pressure without creating a cascading effect on your leadership. It is about doing things quietly. It's um, you don't need to means as a leader, if mistakes happen, right? So
Yeah.
when mistakes happen, errors happen, I'm accountable for it. But when it comes to rewards, recognitions, and all, it's my team. Okay, so
Hmm.
yeah, that's what leadership means for me. So.
Got it. Tell us, how do you balance compassion with performance?
Uh, Again, it's see, if we don't have compassion, we will not have humane power or authority.
Hmm.
Okay, and compassion without boundaries, okay, will also be a chaos.
Hmm.
Okay, we are in a capitalistic economy.
Got to
Okay,
think
so
about it,
there
yeah.
need to be boundaries. Okay, so um, for me, it is the right integration and
Hmm.
blend,
Hmm.
okay, of the both, which are non-negotiable. And yeah, they both coexist. Anything individually will not stand the test of
It's like
time.
it's like how you mentioned in the first question itself. There has to be both softness as well as assertion in the
Yes,
personality. So similarly,
yes,
compassion and performance go both together.
yes, yes, yes. So it's, as I said, yeah, it's like you I mean, I think it's very real. There's no choice out here because
Yeah.
it de facto exists. Okay,
Yeah.
so
All right. Perfect. Tell us, have you ever had to make a decision that hurt emotionally but was necessarily strategical?
course, yes, uh, as leaders, as entrepreneurs,
You have to.
we have to take many of such decisions, wherein which you may not be emotionally aligned. Like, for example, the person is a very good person.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, is joyful, brings a positive energy and XYZ factors, Um, but the person is not able to meet up to the role.
Hmm.
Okay. So what
Yeah.
do you do? So
You
yeah, so
vulnerable.
there are,
Right, you figured out the best match. What role
yeah, 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 yeah.
with the, but
So you
yeah,
like the
tough.
person. Yeah. So And for us, in an industry where in which we are highly people oriented, it's a very, you know,
Yeah,
a constant dilemma which we keep going through it.
got it. Tell us, do you think is leadership more lonely for women at scale?
I think it's lonely for everyone. Okay, men, women. Okay. The most important thing is that women somehow uh, are new entrants in this ecosystem. If you see the ratio wise, like
Yeah,
Indian scenario, uh, Vicky, 7% only women entrepreneurs. Okay, so they're new entrants, so they have not figured out ways, or which many men have mastered it. Okay, so to
yeah,
create that safe net, okay, in a gender dominated makes you more lonely, and that's why you need to have a right ecosystem. You
yeah.
choose your friends, you choose people who support you wisely, because they are the cushion effects again in your life. Softer may not necessarily.
You know, how many times has this been given enough importance to that choose your people wisely? Um, and that you're a reflection of the five people you're around, right? Is this in line with what you're saying that if you have the right set of people who are supporting you, then it's really not that lonely because you can share the stories, you can tell them what's been going on, and there is enough coherence in the whole system, so it's probably not that lonely.
Yeah. So Ekta, see, whether five, four, or whatever, what's one's bandwidth, I think
Yeah.
usually after two, three or something, you don't really have much of bandwidth left. So I won't limit it to,
They'll just keep
uh,
three.
yeah. Uh, but it's important that you see people as people and with their limitations. So the multiples of people usually stress upon, because you may not have one person who will address all the points for you. So
Yeah.
it's important that you create that ecosystem. You should have friends where in which no business or work needs to be talked. It's all about life, fun, play. Okay, because
Yeah.
they bring in a different sort of energy. You need to have your 3 a.m. friends, whatever, whom you can call up and, release your pressure. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there are certain friends who will provide you a different set of net. Okay. So, most importantly, it's important that what's missing in you.
Hmm. Hmm.
What resource do you truly need?
Hmm.
Okay, to be the more fuller version of yourself, and then choose people. So if my work, for example, is long hours, it's very demanding. Okay, um, then having playful friends may not fit
Hmm.
my kind of lifestyle, because I will never have the time. They will, like, call me up 5 times, 10 times, but if most of the time I end up saying no, I cannot make it for an ex outing and all, they will finally give up, right?
Yeah.
So then I would need to lean more towards friends, who are in a similar situation, who understand my pain, my journey. So, just as one example.
Yeah, totally get it. You speak about family self care and not as much individual indulgence. Why is that distinction important in India?
See, from an Indian context, okay, we are knitted in individuals, with family, with societies, with
Yeah,
neighborhoods.
yeah.
Um, Now, in that context, okay, individual wellness is not a very impactful and sustainable wellness.
Hmm.
Okay, until and unless you know you have a family integrated. Okay,
Yeah.
for example. just making it as simple as this. You're someone who wants to enjoy fresh vegetables, more of salads and soups and all that, but your family loves their pani puris and fried items and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So it will be always a clash. So until
Hmm.
and unless you nurture that collectively,
Hmm.
wherein which everyone's needs are accommodated, and you make it as a collective effort, it becomes very difficult to sustain.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
So
wellness in
nice.
India to be
Totally.
sustainable has to be collective. Of
Yeah, got it. Do you think burnout is being normalized instead of being addressed, especially when we talk from India's perspective?
course.
Yeah,
It's a fashion statement also.
but don't you think now people are bringing their awareness to mental health and giving more importance on softer ways of living?
So well, there's talk, okay, about it. There is, conversations happening. But we romanticize the idea of being busy,
Yeah, hustle
okay?
culture.
We romanticize the idea of hustler, what you said. We romanticize the idea of, quantity most often over quality. Okay. So that's quite deeply ingrained in us, again, a belief system. So yes, we we're a byproduct of that.
Normalize.
While there are talks happening, so hopefully, there would be major shifts. But
Yeah.
yes, at the moment.
And tell me, what does preventive wellness look like in a country which is obsessed with productivity? We just said that. Productive wellness.
Hmm.
What that down to?
Yeah. So for me, I look it in terms of a rhythm, then a rush.
Hmm.
Okay. For me, it is about less of emergency rooms and more of preventive setups. Okay. For me, it is having quality time in it is the ability to have quality time to invest in yourself, in the society at large, and just not end up, being sandwiched between the need of, providing for your needs. So it's the ease in the system
And
is
everyone
what.
can have their own kind of ease depending upon their schedules, what works out for them. There's not standardized way of saying it because everyone will have different schedules, but there should be, like you said, the word ease,
Yeah,
depending
because
upon
see,
what works.
right right now, for us, when we look, okay, um, when I see wellness in India, it also means that organizations, okay, uh, for them, wellness comes as a part of system and not extraction. Okay. When we initiate things, it means a deeper wellness for people. It's just not like a fab, this one. And in that context, I would Banaras is one of my favorite cities. Okay. I love the rhythm.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if you've been to Banaras,
Not yet.
but yeah, 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 yeah. So there, you know, people will often call you guru, okay, irrespective of your gender. Guru,
Okay.
guru,
Okay.
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 So, like you have the verbiage of hey, girl or
Okay.
boy and all stuff
Got it.
out here. uh, The local dialect, it's guru, okay.
Okay.
And it's irrespective of the gender because it's believed that uh, everyone is an enlightened soul.
Okay. That's a
Okay.
good one.
Okay. So when you address someone as a guru, you understand there's some wisdom. So willing to
Hmm.
invest that time in conversations and all. So you'll find there are many people in Banaras, enjoying the chuski of the chai, sitting in galyaras, okay? It's a weekday morning, okay, having conversations. people passing by also, that's wellness, that's a,
Kind of thing, like
very,
coming across a concept of hashtag not a rush life, right?
yeah.
Savoring every moment of the day.
See, a rushed life can also be brought down into, an equivalent of someone sleeping for all those hours or being lazy. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm talking about here a rhythm. I mean, there are restaurants, there is business, there's tourism business, everything is happening. आपको सुबह अगर आरती के लिए जाना है तो आपको 4 बजे उठना पड़ेगा, ठीक है, सुबह की
Hmm.
आरती में. Your guide also has to do that, okay.
Typically, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
you know um so I think it's more about, as I said, it's about having that rhythm which does not get affected by the chaos, of the
Hmm.
world outside. You know, you're not in the
Yeah,
need to prove.
perfect. Now, the next question I'm going to ask, I think I gave a lot of thought, but I'm so excited to ask you. In your opinion, if India healed emotionally, what
Mhm.
industries do you think would collapse?
The industries that serve or mint money on chaos, on impatience, um, and emergencies.
Emergencies. Yeah. I mean, the times are not that far. I'm sure they're making some provision.
Yeah.
All right, tell us. You've openly spoken about an SME listing. So, why is financial ambition still uncomfortable when women say it out loud?
Again, it's cultural, Ekta, and it's again an outcome of a deep-seated patriarchy syndrome. Okay, because ambition in women is translated as aggression. Okay, uh, money in women are coined by names of gold diggers, etc. Okay, or a financial security. Okay, um, so it's a cultural thing. Okay, it's not like a one person's creation. It's a cultural thing, which is
Hmm.
being hand down to us from generations, from our scriptures, from our religions, from our societies. Okay, and it's world across. Okay,
Hmm.
so you're just against the rising you're facing the rising wave, but the great part is there's a lot of awareness, there's a lot of support which is coming. Okay, there's a lot of consciousness which is rising. Okay,
Like we said, the times are
and
changing.
yes, the times are changing. Okay, so till the time we reach to that, okay, it's a journey, we would be labeled. Okay.
Hmm.
The most important thing is how much weightage you want to give to it.
Yes, this is such a good point that you've raised. And I think this goes in every choice you make. Every choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much importance do you want to give it? Is boils down to you at at your inner self, at your,
Yeah.
who you are.
Perfect. Okay. What does investor confidence mean in a values led business? We tried to touch on the financial side of it. How
Hmm.
would you answer this?
I see it systems
Hmm.
outweighs, if um, from an investor perspective, I hope I've understood your question correctly. You have asked me investor perspective, right?
Yeah.
It's the systems,
Hmm.
because systems are what will bring scalability in the
Hmm.
business, will bring that growth, uh, vertical as well as horizontal. Um, so that's definitely there. And I think in India, still the investors look a lot in terms of promoters. Okay.
Hmm.
Because businesses in India are still a lot promoter driven,
Hmm. Okay.
because we haven't reached that scale and a large, except few big industries. We have uh, businesses which comes in mid-size, okay, so which are very promoters oriented business. So I think for investors perspective, it's also the resilience of promoters, the ability for them to contain, okay, the ability for them to take pressure uh, and not pass it down, be more
Hmm.
cushioning effect is, I think, what investors look for. POC to
Yeah,
aa gaya. Okay, your balance sheets will talk about POCs.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so what more? I think
Hmm.
this is where it translates down to. Of
Right. So tell me, is legacy about size or about changing the rules of the game? What do you
course,
think?
it's changing the rules of the game. You're
Yeah.
creating systems so people behind you travel with lesser pain. That's what legacy
Yeah.
is.
It's also like bringing your own vision, which actually you brought the entire perspective of how people were viewing wellness to now how they view wellness. It's actually changing the rules of the game only, right? Like you said.
Yes. Yeah, it's actually it's also dethorning the path, so it becomes relatively more easier for people behind you to travel.
Yeah. Perfect. What do you want Meghavi to represent 20 years from now?
Well, it has to be a brand that outlives me. As simple as this.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, in the most simplest thing, it's a brand, a system that outlives me.
I feel like I'm asking a question to a parent. What do you think your child, how do you want your child to reflect in like 20 years from now?
Well, in a business, you might have a definitive path. Okay, there would be exigencies and all that stuff. But with humans, you can't really go down that path.
We're just going to stick around with business then. But I mean, even in business, you probably would have had a vision and then you will fine tune it depending upon what comes across and who knows, maybe you had a vision about we're already at 55 plus outlets and what if your vision was like 100 plus outlets but it crosses 200? Could be anywhere, right?
Yeah, see, in terms of size, in terms of growth, okay. Um, if the business does not outlive me,
Yeah.
okay, then obviously it's shrunk. Okay, the only way for the business to outlive me is my personal identity or my involvement or anything is that it reaches to a scale wherein
Mm.
which uh, it's more of a process oriented, system oriented thing. It's right now it's part of me. Okay,
Mm.
for me, Meghavi in 20 years from now should be an independent entity, which while holding all the value systems that's being created, it's larger uh, than what it is today.
Beautiful.
Is that what I wish for it?
All right. Bringing you to a segment which is slightly simpler and has a lot of energy. You love to
Yeah.
travel, dance for hours, and you're a proud
Yes.
parent. How do joy and play show up in your leadership?
See, I feel that in leadership, if I don't have joy and play,
Yeah.
okay, it becomes very monotonous and boring and authoritative.
Hmm.
Okay, so so for us, we have moments. We there are like for example अक्टूबर में नवरात्रि होते हैं we have dandiya nights, okay, there are festivals, we twine up, there's a message which goes around, okay, shall we wear, my team which also had substantial females also in leadership positions, okay, we talk about it, then it's about celebrations, we
Hmm.
celebrate, okay, every victory, every joyful moment is being celebrated, so it's a very intrinsic part of Meghavi's DNA
Hmm.
because it happens in day to day. It
Hmm.
happens in conversations. It happens in action forms. So there is an achievers group. Okay, all birthday pictures are being put up there. It's a WhatsApp group. They do an X target of the day. Okay, there's a cake and Coke celebration which happens. So yeah, there are these playful moments which are imbibed at the team level also, not only at my leadership style, but it's percolated down.
Fun. So there is no separate concept. It's already ingrained. It's already
Yes.
ingrained. And that's
Yeah,
how
yeah, it
team
is.
functions and
Yes,
leadership functions.
yes.
Okay. So when I was doing some research, I figured out this terminology which is called horizontal family. I want to know
Hmm.
what does it mean to you?
So, see, horizontal family for me is having an ecosystem that's not obligation driven. Okay. So you have a vertical family, which means you're blood related, you're born, to certain people, your parents, and then with that, naturally, you attract to the set of people.
Yeah.
And then you have horizontal family, which is based on your vibes, your experiences, your exposure, the people you meet. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so for me, everyone may not be gifted with a great vertical family. And when I say great, it's not, I mean, it's circumstantial. Okay. It can have its own challenges and all that stuff. So, um, but we always have a choice.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can't choose my parents, okay, but I always have a choice to choose, okay, my set of friends, the people I want to hang out with. Okay, so for me, horizontal family is a conscious, your choice driven pace and not obligation.
Beautiful.
So it's something which can be very strengthening to you if wisely chosen.
Yeah. When do you feel most like yourself? When you're a founder or you're private person?
I think at this point, both are merged for me. There's no
Yeah.
separation. So it's both are integrated well. So yeah, there's
What's
no
something about,
separation.
yeah, I feel like you feel sometimes even on weekends when you might just be, because sometimes the work stays in your head so much, even on weekends or the days you're on off, that it invariably becomes a part of your personality then, right?
See, when you look from a perspective for work, then you have this separation which comes into the picture. Okay, um, does Meghavi as a business does pay my bills and all that stuff? Yes, of course. Okay, it's a source of income also. But beyond that, it's a passion for me.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's a lived passion.
Hmm.
I do not have Monday blues. Okay, that
Isn't that
concept does
such a good
not
thing?
exist for me. Okay, because for me it is looking forward to. Okay,
Hmm.
what new can be done? What can be added on? What impact can be created? See, when businesses are small, they are more profit oriented. Okay, when
Yeah.
businesses are at scale, they're impact oriented. And the moment you get into the line of impact orientation, the lines really blur. Okay, you don't change. Okay, but you have the wisdom, how to respond to a situation in what way. I can speak to my boyfriend like I'm speaking to my CEO. Okay.
True.
So there's a different set. Okay, may the message may be same. Okay, but how
Yeah.
it's being presented is different. So that's there.
Okay, what's something about you people don't expect but should?
Wow. I'm full of surprises.
Do tell.
Very organic.
Like at least give us one or two things.
I'm a very sensual person.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm a very sensual person in touch with my femininity. Okay, and it's hard for people. to
Hmm.
see it because most of the time I encounter them
Hmm.
in roles of, being the co-founder, promoter of a company, or so. But deep down, I'm a very sensual, feminine energy. Yeah.
Great.
Mm.
See?
Who's in control? Who's in complete power? Okay.
Which is
So,
such a potent combination, I'm thinking. Like you have the feminine energy, which is in complete control. Isn't that
yeah,
wow?
yeah, it's a very beautiful act. It gives you so much of freedom, Ekta. See, if like I enjoy doing something,
Hmm.
I do not need to seek permission
Yeah.
from anyone. Okay. I have allowed myself, okay, that I'm worthy of everything.
Hmm.
And that's a very that comes from a very empowering position.
Yeah.
So if today I feel like that I want to go to a nightclub and dance my
Yeah.
heart out, I will call a few friends and all. But if my friends cannot come, it will not take away
Stop.
me not going. So I've gone to nightclubs all by myself, and
I
dance
am
for like hours, So
I don't know if I have the position of saying I'm so proud of you, but I really want to say that because there are so many. Forget about girls. Even when we talk with our friends, guy friends, even people put up their plans if they don't have the right circle or they don't have the company, and especially females. Even if you're feeling so much, you want to do those moves, but then you're kind of shy because you look around people and you think about people, and a lot of times you just give up that aspect of your personality. So it's so refreshing to hear somebody who owns it in full gutso and says that this is who I am. Took me years, but I've came to a realization, and I own it with full confidence. And I think a lot of people will get inspired, especially me.
So next time send me a picture of one of the
Yeah.
solo trips you're doing, or going to a restaurant or a nightclub or whatever, you feel like doing, your heart
Yeah.
desires for.
Like when we spoke about changing times, I think this should also be one of the things that celebrate who you are and accept who you are, or spend time with yourself to realize what is it that you really like and enjoy, and then do it without seeking a company. If there is a company, excellent. If there's not, nobody should stop you from enjoying or making the most of that moment, right?
Absolutely.
All
100%.
right. Okay. Tell us what makes life feel full right now.
Um, Honestly, I feel everything I need, I have it. I don't feel a lack of anything. And I'm saying it with all my heart that I do not have an iota of doubt, okay, that where I am is a full circle for me.
Great.
And that's been a very powerful journey for me to reach to this stage. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, whatever comes is a blessing, is an add-on. Okay. There are byproducts we look for, because there are measurement things, and we live in an ecosystem in which it's not only my interest. I have to look in terms of interest, but at a personal level. Okay. At a business level, obviously, this is not something, which is the reality of Meghavi. I can't say that Meghavi is all what it is, okay,
Hmm.
because that means stagnancy for business, okay. But at a personal level, I come from the space of completeness, okay.
Hmm.
And when I operate from there, my decisions come from that stable platform. They are not a reaction, they are a response, okay. And that changes the game.
Yeah, that is so amazing. We've come towards the end of the podcast. So, this is called Unapologetic Me for a reason. If I may ask, what are you the most unapologetic about in this very moment? What would you tell me?
Being myself, no explanations.
I feel we're also having a
Yeah.
full circle because in your intro, I said that she stopped explaining. Cut to the full recording where we ended saying we've stopped explaining.
Well, I did share a lot of experiences
Yes,
in this
yes.
entire podcast, and it was intense. It was like, two friends having a conversation, and two women, seeing from different lenses, and also that's beautiful. Um, yeah, it's for me, I've just the most unapologetic I am about is who I am today. Okay, so again, for me, that comes from a space of great power and strength. It's not stubbornness, it's not ego. Uh, it is that realization. And it comes with a lot of self work, which is not easy.
No. Talk about it.
so, so I'm glad that I'm at that position.
All right, perfect. With this, we're going to close. Makeup, we've had fantastic time recording. And I think I personally took a lot of learnings, and I'm sure all the listeners, people who are going to watch, listen, they'll pick their own cues on how to lead with gutso and have such a zeal for life. What are your thoughts? What do you feel about this recording?
Well, it's beautiful because it's very authentic, Ekta. It is about addressing women in leadership. It is about a woman talking to a woman without filters. And I think that our conversation has also brought in certain key takeaways, okay, which may be beneficial for many. So it has been a good blend of systems, of businesses, of philosophy, of spirituality, of
Life
energies,
in general.
and fun part too. So
I still got to see all the pictures of next time nightclubs and restaurants.
yeah. I look forward to.
All right, I'm going to pack the episode now. Megha's story reminds us that healing is not passive, it's designed, structured, funded, and fiercely protected. That Shakti doesn't ask for permission, that ambition doesn't cancel softness, and that sometimes the most radical thing a woman can do is stop explaining. This was not a conversation about wellness, it was a conversation about power and what women do with it when they finally trust themselves. Megha, thank you for building systems where women can heal, earn, and lead unapologetically. And to everyone listening, may you stop explaining too. Until next time, this is your host Ekta, and I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, live your life the most unapologetically that you can. Thank you.